Log recording. It's 12:03 in the morning, West Coast time. It's Monday, the 17th of June, 2024. The Weber John C. of Roseman, California. You're zombie out here. What's going on, guys? Okay, so the video I was doing was about Midnight Caller, my appreciation and my enthusiasm for it. And a shout out to Gary Cole as well. I know he's a hell of an actor. Gets himself in certain shows out there that a lot of fans have built up a base on this guy. I mean, he's just as old as my brother. I mean, I hate to throw that into his face, but he kind of reminds me of such. He's about a decade older than I am. And even that being said, I appreciated his works a great deal. Anyway, yeah, there's a lot of politics. There's a lot of things happening these days, and unfortunately, I miss the days of radio show calling, being part of something special. You know, that's why I guess I was so crazy about that show, being part of something. I got myself into something like that, and it was hard to deal with. I mean, at first, yeah, but I still have to tell the tale, don't I? So, shout out to the character of Jack Killian, the Nighthawk, and to the actor who played him, Gary Cole. Here's my story about the radio show program. Not about his, but the one I probably torpedoed with a photon torpedo and didn't even realize it. Long time ago, Star Trek fanatic. Gee, who would have guessed? And I would go to conventions left and right. As a kid, teenager, going into the 20-something-year-old fanaticals, and seeing the older generation or first generation of Star Trek fans, and I'm second generation. I saw the repeats, but still, I was considered a Trekkie. I guess I still am. I discovered a long time ago that there was a clash about the classes of fandom here regarding Star Trek fans. Either you're a Trekkie or you're a Trekker. Sorry. Uh, Trekkies would be like basic beginning fanatics who would watch the shows and do the cosplays, they call them these days, get the memorabilia, talk about stuff with other people, share fandom stories left and right. But the Trekkers were the ones who were actually working in productions on the whole series in the first place. From the original series to the latest reincarnations. They're the ones who are doers, who are part of the productions. Some people could consider themselves as Trekkers because they got themselves involved with the fandom very heavily. Well, yeah. I mean, two original one, John Trimble and Bijo Trimble. Gotta be with them both. Shout out to those two as well. They helped start the fandom. They saved Star Trek for 2 seasons until after the third season. It just wasn't possible for the network. But I'm trying to build up to this story here. So, being a fanatic, buying the merchandise, buying the books, uh, living the tale, talking about this stuff because what I seen, what I knew, what I read about, I could become like an encyclopedia. Then I read that I don't know anything about it until I had to read more and more information about it from the other authors who are closer to it than I was. But it was nice to read all those books and everyone else's imaginations. I'm like, gee whiz, I wish I could have been one of these guys. So yeah, one of those kind of Star Wonders. Anyway, through the conventions, I was connected to a few other clubs. One is trying to get this international thing going on, and another one is just a local constabulary, local chapters trying to build up their own sub fleet or something like that. Their own little mini federation next to the larger federation. Anyway, on that one, mistakes I've made in the larger one because I didn't quite dealt with people directly. I mean, a kid coming out of high school, going into college, 2 years, and I'm supposed to know stuff? Not really. But I met people who've been at the conventions who actually went to community college, and I thought they were just as goofy as I was. And I discovered no, they're beyond that one. So I couldn't deal with it. Something happened in a situation, and basically I got myself out of the club, including the organization. I just decided to walk out of it. But it was me not understanding that the universe was a lot grander than what I thought it was, and a lot weirder and conflicting, confusing, and larger than anything else my imaginations or my skill sets in dealing with people could deal with. Basically, I'm still a toddler brain. As a toddler brain back then, I think I still am sometimes. And after realizing my mistakes in one particular thing, I decided, okay, let's repeat the same mistake all over again. Join another club, see what happens in this one. Oh, yeah. On an extreme edge. Definitely an extremity. And I can deal with this one. I mean, I wrote the stories that I thought they were pretty interesting for them. And they kept saying, you're picking on this character too damn much. We want you over here in this halfway across the galaxy, or actually halfway across LA County, so we can talk to you about this one. We're going to lobotomize your character. My brother was with me at the time. He didn't think it was damn funny. I had my stories with me. I tossed them in the garbage can. I said, fuck it. Fuck them and screw it all. I'm not dealing with this shit ever again. Oh, I got pissed off. I had enough with fans. If they're this screwed up in the heads, I am not dealing with these nut jobs. I tried to do it my own, but I couldn't do a club for myself. I guess I had grown up and born a mental of being just an observer, not a participant. But mistakes like those I kept in my head, filed away, just so I would avoid any other kind of missteps. Being human, let me say this again, being human, we have to make mistakes in order to grow, learn, and we have to keep stubbing our toes and stepping on Lego pieces all the damn time. Hurts, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. I've done it too many damn times. So I had to be careful. Careful where I step at. Even cockleburrs will hurt a feet. One way or another. Slid into a shoe. Several times. And yeah, they're irritating as hell until you take the shoe off, get the thing out of the shoe, put your foot back into it, and go, oh. But how do you do that for fandom? There was other fandom situations happening I got myself into. Still along the Star Trek method. You know, there was a radio show out there on the AM band based out in Glendale, KIEV. and they had their own radio shows on there, including one of them I came across, but you know, didn't dawn on me that this one particular fan was really into the Star Trek stuff. I think she was first generation, and she was trying to get connections with Paramount at the time and into the Star Trek genre and into their fandom there. Had to get into the production area to talk to a couple of people over there. And next thing I know, she's got her own radio program going on called Talk Trek. Talk Trek. They would talk about Star Trek to the actors, to the producers, to the stagehands, to anybody connected with it one way or another. So through the connections of Paramount, one way or another, the show was getting ground on the air. And this is analog radio, guys. This is not digital streaming crap we got these days. This is analog. You turn on an old-fashioned transistor radio and be able to pick up the radio stations that they're being blasted out left and right by repeater stations all over you. I mean, this was a generation well before you guys. So, getting into it. Her name was Joyce Mason. God rest her soul. God bless her. And she had this radio show. She wanted to get fans going. She wanted to get a fandom going. She wanted to get followers. Spread the word about her show because she wanted to get it built big. Well, this is what happens when you want your clubs to grow, so you had to go for advertising left and right. She would advertise, but she would also have advertisers on there who did services outside. Different services would get advertising, you know, a free, let's see, about 15 or 20-second or 30-second spot they'd pay for, weekly, monthly, yearly, I think. And she was really picking up the momentum at this point. Now, I got into it. I listened to it. I mean, I don't know how I narrow it in except through a convention. Because anytime there's going to be fandom out there, they always want their names, they always want their clubs to be shown. So, dealer's room. Pick at a table, uh, pay your dues for it, and show your wear. Talk about your shows, talk about your clubs. And I guess that way that got my attention somehow. So when I listened to the local radio station in Glendale, and I was living in San Fernando Valley at the time, I was listening to this. I would wait for it. And then I'd listen to Joyce Mason. And during this time, we actually did have the cable services out there, but this was still on the radio. So I was listening to the radio. Turned on the radio, and then they had to call in. So I tried to call in a couple of times. Actually, I tried it a few times. Then she moved over to cable. When she had her thing growing so big that she couldn't. I don't know the reasons why she moved from radio to cable, except she wanted to get more followers, more national or international followers, but more national followers, basically. She had ambitions on this one. She really did. But I was going to be one of her followers. They would call us the Talk Trek Outpost Commanders. We would be the ones drawing into people into her fandom there. But she still wanted to promote Star Trek, and she was still a die-hard Trekkie on that one, trying to promote herself as a Trekker at that point, because she got Big Bill on there, and therefore she's part of the Trek atmosphere. She's part of them. But enter me. Enter me. So when she moved over to cable radio network, CRN, They had a station out in Sylmar, or actually in Sun Valley, one of those two areas. And they would be broadcasting all over the San Fernando Valley, not to mention Southern California, and even larger than that. My mother wondered what the hell was going on with this kid here. I mean, it was one thing listening to the radio show, trying to talk in and have a chit chat. Okay, that keeps me busy. She had no problems with that one. She even tried to do her own bit by getting her own business, a bookkeeping income tax business. So she advertised a couple of times. They took it. They did her commercials and they got it out there. She didn't get anybody. No, she had to go to mixers all the time, business mixers, where there's a group of people, uh, business leaders, small time, trying to build up their businesses. Chamber of Commerce's she would go to left and right just to build up her own business. It's the only way she knew how. She was doing a service, that's her service. But being a radio show host, that's a different thing altogether. You really had to constantly sell this thing. It's one thing producing the product, but another thing, and I've been noticing a hell of a lot of people doing it a lot. And I keep asking myself, do I really need to do this? To ask, plead, cajole, cry, get subscribers, get likes, get comments, get shares. When I started doing my own thing, I wanted it for an emotional lifeboat, telling about my story just to make sure I'm going to be remembered one way or another. And if I lose my own memory, at least I want to make sure that I've got something to go back on. And if in the event that I happen to do something stupid, what led up to it, because always the general premise, the original premise was, if there was going to be something stupid I was going to do, such as say goodnight, Charlie, then I sign off permanently from life itself. So there had to be a pathway to this, one form or another. There had to be something to show what was the mental stability of me. I mean, it's one thing to keep the video logs on flash drives left and right, or maybe on the few streaming drives out there, but or clouds out there they call them, I think. But no, I did YouTube's. What the hell? First, it was just embarrassing as hell, but started putting more and more of them, and then put my own emotional baggage on it. But it's not baggage. It's not. It's grieving. It's mourning. It's depression. It's things that I was going through. So I needed a venting. I needed an outlet. I needed to talk and scream to the world. This is what I'm going through. Because I don't see anybody else talking about grieving and mourning and going through depression and trying to deal with life on life's terms. Come on. Why not me? What the hell? Here I am. But, and everything else comes in, politics and God knows what else. Memories comes in, science fiction, science stuff, history, culture of some sort. So I started to get into this thing more and more. It's my shtick. It's small. If it gets larger, it gets larger. If it gets smaller, then that's alright. But if I was really conscious about being an egomaniac about this one, megalomania, I would be demanding people to like my show, to share the show, to comment on the show. Actually, there have been a few comments I've seen, and yeah, I did. I deleted. Some of the comments were not exactly what I was expecting. But then again, no, I would appreciate a negative every once in a while if I can understand that they weren't showing that one particular viewpoint was not shared at all. But it still needs to be voiced and it still needs to be looked at before it gets deleted. So you got me on that one. I was talking about Talk Trek, right? Joyce Mason had the show going on. And then she made an offer that I couldn't refuse. I mean, I already did about a year and a half or two following this lady's career on radio and on cable radio, and listening to people and calling in and talking to people on there and having a good time on it. Sometimes I feel like I thought I was intelligent. I didn't think I was that much intelligent back then. I swear to God, I was dumber than dog shit. Well, late 20s to think he knows anything, and then 30s pushing in. Come on. It was getting rotten for me during those times. But this one, when she invited people, her fans, to call in and come on board, I must have been the only moron in San Fernando Valley. I must have been the only moron within 50 or 100 miles from this damn show that actually decided to take her up on the offer. I guess she wanted to find out how many of the fans that she had out there for this show. So I did. I took her up on it. Talk Trek Commander, Outpost 53. I still have my Starbase. I still have my Starbase 53 moniker. Yeah, I know Paramount's going to lock me on this one here, but I've had it for a hell of a long while. I don't capitalize on it. I don't monetize it. It's mine. My personal junk mail. But anyway, I went. And I finally met the old lady. She was pushing in her 60s, late 60s, early 70s, I think. But she was laughing and having a gay old time with two other guys I never even heard of. One of them actually being an associate producer, went up on the production command level, so you should say, just bopping himself up there. So I don't know what he's doing anymore. Dave Rossi, God rest his soul. God bless him. The other guy, just could never forget. I can't remember who the other guy was. But Dave Rossi, I knew. I kept running into his name so many times in the Star Trek production shows. Look at the breakdown of the people worked on the show, and then you would see Dave Rossi, Dave Rossi, Dave Rossi, Dave Rossi. Whoa, okay, at least I know the name. But Joyce Mason was one of those who was giving people the voice and the face for it. So the first time I'm on there, and I'm talking about stuff, and I thought I was having a great old time. Maybe I was dumber than dog shit. I don't know. Or maybe I just wanted to say something like every other fan would like to talk to him. I wanted to get involved. I wanted to be one of those fans that really wanted to be involved and be part of this thing. You know, I really wanted to be part of something special. I wanted to be part of something I didn't know, something greater and bigger than me. So I did this show. I did her show once, and then I was invited to come back in, and I did. And it seemed like every other fan who listened to the show, they were like, "Oh my God, I could be one of those guys." They'd call in. But did I ever actually see them going to the production of it? No. So why was I the only schmuck in Southern California at that time, back in the 90s, coming to the production, coming to the cable radio network station there a second time? And apparently, our conversation in there, I wish I had it taped. I wish I had a tape of the damn thing. That would have been something right there. But it wasn't meant to be. Cable radio network was one of those was one of the national things that was going across a lot of stations all over the country that you would hear different shows coming on there. But in our market, they were only focusing on the Southern California market. I mean, they each have their own markets, but ours was California. We had not Spectrum, we had Charter Television, I think, or something else, Time Warner, or I forgot what the company name was for it. I mean, who had cable radio network on one of the channels for it that offered it. But we had it. Cable radio network stayed for a long time. Then after that, I don't know what the hell happened because things change. But here's the thing. The third time I came on the show for Talk Trek, I wasn't invited. There wasn't a call for the fans to come on. I guess maybe I upstaged her somehow. I don't know what the hell I did wrong. I kept asking myself, what was I doing wrong? I liked the show. I wanted to show enthusiasm, involvement. I was starting to develop plans to going over there every week. Maybe be part of their their area. Part of their clique. Always had dumber than dog shit, I guess. God. I didn't see the signs. Maybe my brother did. He was trying to tell me about the same thing, but I was going to be stubborn and thick-headed about the damn shit in the first place. So what the hell? Let's continue this damn thing until we see what the hell happens. And I did. Show was going on, then the first break came on, and I went outside for a break, stretch out. But I guess I was asked to leave a little bit. Um, my brother was here in the back talk on this one. So was the general manager. Apparently, I had upstaged her so badly that they didn't want me to come back ever. Not even call. I heard about this, that I was no longer wanted. I told David, let's go home. And I left. I guess my enthusiasm scared the hell out of her. Here was this young man going to her show all the time, starry-eyed fanatic who wanted to be part of something bigger, special, and larger than himself. Yeah. If I had known that I was going to be starting a chain reaction after that, I don't know. Maybe I would have gone to a damn shrink and just say, commit me already. Just put me into a hospital. Just never let me out. I'll just grow and mutate in there. But you have to live life on live streams. Oh, tell me about it, Mama. Come here. Oh, come here. She's going to be that way about it. She must be obeyed. She's wondering how come I'm up. She's going to get her some water and go back to bed again. And now she'll be pleading for me to put her back in bed. I'm dealing with a 20-year-old tweener who's got dementia happening. She's partially blind. You can barely see. Deaf. She's getting old. But she's still got life left in her. Some days she's actually able to tear around here a little bit. And other days, she's dragging her heels like today. You want to come, Ma? Can I? Come here. Yeah, I want to pick up my mama. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. I gotta pick up Ma. Come here. Oh, she hates us, but I have to pick her up anyway. She still wants it. Yeah, she's the mama's. This is my mama's. This is my baby. Sometimes she doesn't even recognize them, but she does know me. It used to be a lot livelier, Ma. We used to be a lot livelier when we were a lot younger. Okay, I'll take you back to bed. All right. Yeah, back to bed, Mama. She'll follow the smells. Haven't cleaned up some of the doggy smell in there. It's her own scent passing in its place. So she knows where she's running to and walking to. But I never heard from Talk Trek ever again. Several years later, I came across an obituary. She had passed. We never did clear things up. We never did clear the air. And I regret that. If it was my overenthusiasm, if it was me, I had. Sorry is not enough. I still had to accept responsibility. I have to be accountable for this one. Even if I was partially responsible for it, just even a small part, I still have to apologize for the thing. I still have to. I still have to remember the lessons on these things in the first place. Because fandom will, I don't know, you could be crazy about a lot of things in your lifetime. You could be crazy about shows, sports, or God knows what else. But the thing of it is, once you give it a life of its own, it's kind of hard to deal with afterwards. You know, it is, and it's hard for me not to understand this more and more because I'm seeing it happen more and more. I've seen also where fans have gotten to a point, and I know one particular fan that generated a state law over this one, that he was obsessed over this one actress, and he killed her. There's a stalking law in California that is still in the books. This guy was a very obsessed fan. He stalked her and he killed her. So yeah, I have to start thinking about it every time if I'm going to be getting into a major fandom situation. Nobody else thinks about the damn thing. I do. Because towing a line, not fun. Yeah, a lot more to stories on that one that I generally don't talk about, and this is going to be one of those things that's uh, not ready for airing. Not yet, anyway. With that said, I haven't been involved with any other Star Trek fans in a long while. I've been a fanatic of any other kind of show that I can watch. Yeah, I mean, I appreciate them left and right, but not to the point where, like, I want to be part of it. I want to be part of it. No, I don't think so anymore. Besides dealing with my own, I'm just dealing with a collection of videos on a YouTube channel and just talking about life, politics, death, grieving, mourning, anything else that hits, including fire season. That being said, guys, I gotta get up in a few hours, get a place cleaned up because we got bug spraying. Thank God Almighty, we got the working guys coming back in. But I gotta get this place ready in the morning. So I still gotta get a few hours of sleep if I'm lucky enough. With that being said, night.